Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a short version podcast talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Today is Thursday, November 21st, and it's game night. It's only been a couple days, but hey, Thursday night football, Steelers, Browns, tonight in Cleveland. I'll be heading over there shortly. Really excited for that one. Going to talk a little bit about that matchup, have some thoughts on Justin Fields, and TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. Both had some interesting things to say the other day. Want to get into that. It's also Friday. Well, it's Thursday, but it's the Friday episode, so some Q&A parts of this one as well. But first, want to remind you that this show is brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates. If you're injured in an accident, you're probably wondering what's next. For over 40 years, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped injury victims answer that question, whether it's gathering evidence, collecting medical records, or dealing with insurance companies. Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped over 75,000 people handle what's next. Call 1-800-94-EDGAR or visit edgarsnyder.com for a free consultation. And remember, there's never a fee unless they get money for you. All right, so I'm going to start with the head-to-head comments with TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. Obviously started with Myles Garrett saying that he's never complained about not winning the Defensive Player of the Year award and decided to, call out, if that's the right word, TJ Watt for his actions. I vehemently disagree. One of the things that I went and looked up, because I think it's a valid discussion point. They are very close. You can even logically give the edge to TJ Watt in this matchup. If you look at sacks last year, not to revisit old things, but I guess we are now because of what Myles Garrett said. TJ Watt, 19 sacks, Myles Garrett, 14. Tackles, TJ Watt, 68, Myles Garrett, 42. Pressures, TJ Watt, 70, Myles Garrett, 79. PFF rankings, ratings, whatever you want to call it, Myles Garrett did come out ahead there. I mean, we can have a debate about who deserved it, right? Does TJ Watt owe Myles Garrett an apology? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. A couple things I'd point out. One, yes, TJ Watt, I guess, said a little something, basically that he's kind of used to it at this point. Made a comment on social media about getting snubbed indirectly, whatever. That does not warrant an apology to Myles Garrett. If anything, just leaving the award ceremony early, which I believe TJ Watt did, maybe he owes an apology to Cam Hayward, but that's it. That's it. TJ Watt has a perfectly valid case for winning the Defensive Player of the Year award, and look at where they're at this year. I know that doesn't inform any decision-making for the award last year, but very curious to see how this plays out if TJ Watt and the Steelers defense is able to handle the Browns, which they should be able to do. As far as this matchup, I think this is very one-sided toward the Steelers. Worries me a little bit just because of the past that's been, Steelers in games that they should win, played in Cleveland. It doesn't always go great for the Steelers, looking for something different. How does that happen? Well, I think they need to turn the ball over quite a bit. That's going to be a key to this one. Jameis Winston, he's been turnover prone throughout his career. He's actually been pretty good for the Browns in the games that he started, but I think the Steelers have an opportunity to create some turnovers here, to get some splash, to sack him a little bit, put some pressure on him. So I'm looking for that. Something else I'm looking for tonight, and this isn't necessarily a key to the game, although I guess it feeds into kind of the red zone struggles that the Steelers have had. Justin Fields. What did they do with him? They unveiled a little bit of a package last week, couple plays where Justin Fields was in there. I think there's room for growth there. And I think that's something we're going to see play out at Huntington Bank Field. Boy, I struggle to say that. I'm glad I have to type it. I don't have to say it too much once we get to Cleveland. But the Steelers' red zone offense, converting at 44%, that's 30th in the NFL. It needs to be better. One big reason is Russell Wilson has just been unusually inaccurate in the red zone. Throughout his career, he's been very good there, but just 7 of 24 so far. That's a 29.2 completion percentage. So I'm looking for Russell Wilson to make a few better decisions in the red zone. But I'm also curious to see how much the Steelers decide to use Justin Fields. Did they use him as a quarterback? Did they use him as a decoy? Did they use him as a running threat? Did they even split him out wide? I think there's an opportunity for the Steelers to show a little bit of a different look and also involve some different guys. Mike Williams down the field, Pat Freiermuth over the middle, etc. I don't think the red zone offense has quite gotten to the level that it should, even throwing to backs out of the backfield, involving Najee Harris and Jalen Moore in the passing game a little bit more. Those are two things that I think the Steelers can absolutely do. All right, we're going to take a short break. The middle of this thing, have a message from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. On the other side of that, we'll have some questions as well as a Pirates topic. I've been asked that on social media. I want to get into it a little bit with an off-season ad that you would like to see the Pirates make. But first, are you ready for an escape from the everyday? The Bradenton area on Florida's west coast is welcoming visitors. Our world-famous beaches are being restored to their pristine states. Beloved island businesses are bouncing back faster than expected, and our signature Floridian cuisine is just as fresh as ever. Don't wait. Start planning your visit today at BradentonGolfIslands.com. All right, so let's get to the questions first, and then I'll get to my own question. But any rumors of free agents the Pirates might pursue? I know they're cheap and won't sign an impactful free agent, but a guy can hope. That was asked by Ryan O. Alexia21 asked that one. No rumors of free agents the Pirates might pursue. That stuff tends to not get out. There are options. Certainly, I talked about some of them on a radio show on the Fan that I did on Wednesday night, last night. But free agent signings at first base is something that really intrigues me. Pete Alonso and Christian Walker would be, kind of my go-tos there if you're able to get that done. I don't think they're going to be able to. I think when it comes down to it, probably the better signing or the better move at first base is going to be trade related. Maybe that's Ryan Mountcastle of Baltimore, Yandy Diaz of the Rays, two guys that made sense at the trade deadline. Pirates obviously didn't land either one of them, but they would make a lot of sense. I had Michael McHenry on, and he suggested Bo Bichette. Actually thought that they could shift IKF into a little bit more of a utility role, get Bo Bichette from Toronto. Again, that would be a trade, not necessarily free agent, but at this point, it probably would look a little bit more to trade than free agency. Any player on the Pirates you could see extended this coming season? What's the likelihood of spending a bigger chunk of money in free agency to address the issues for at least the next 3 years? That's Ongo Goblogian at Dim Jenkins. Boy, that's a handle that will trip me up every single time. I don't know if I see the Pirates doing any sort of extension this offseason. I know they've done one the past 3. The candidates might be O'Neal Cruz. The Paul Skeens thing I'm going to talk about in a second. I don't love the possibility of that happening, but I do see your point in using a bigger chunk of money in free agency to address the issues for at least the next 3 years. If you look at first base, and not to dwell too much on this, but their production there has not been anywhere near close to good enough. Look this up last night. If you look at every team from 2021 to 2024, and the production they've gotten out of first base, the Pirates are dead last, negative 1.5 WAR, according to Fangraphs. That can't happen. If you look at an opportunity for the Pirates to spend some money to get somebody in here in a multiple-year contract to really allocate resources toward fixing a problem, it's at first base. And that must happen. That's something they absolutely have to do. Mike Anatori asks, is it premature to wonder if Duquesne was too hasty in promoting Drew Joyce III? This edition of the Dukes looks like they have reverted back to the pre-Dambrot era. Yes, I think it's too early, Mike. I do. I think a lot of Drew Joyce, it's very early. I think it's 4 games into the season. Yes, I know 4 losses. Drew Joyce talked after the last game about still sort of getting the pieces to fit right together, getting guys to play together. I just don't think you can make that sort of determination based on 4 games. And if you look at what, Dambrot's message was with the hiring of Drew Joyce, what players said about Drew Joyce, how Duquesne thought about Drew Joyce, there's a good coach in there. There's a good coach, and I'm not looking at somebody after 4 games like he's in over his head. His teams have defended well everywhere he's gone. That it's taken a little bit longer with the roster turnover the Dukes have had. Nah, I'm not thinking that. All right, Alex at @hiphop_Jorge asks, have you heard of any interest from the Pirates on Roki Sasaki? Is it a foregone conclusion to think he's going to sign with the Dodgers? I have not heard of any Pirates interest. I'm not saying it's not there, but I have not heard it. And if you look at Sasaki and his options, I mean, honestly, I hate to be crude saying this. Why would he sign with the Pirates? He's going to have other options, other offers. Maybe that's with the Dodgers. I mean, there's a reason they're able to pull guys out of there. There's a reason they're able to build their team a certain way because people want to come and play there. This is a discussion with the Pirates that's a little bit bigger than one player, where they need to make their place of employment more attractive to free agents, to make it so guys want to come there and see available playing time. And I'm not sure I see a match there with the Pirates. All right, Final question I asked people on Twitter, what is the one move you would like to see the Pirates make that would give you confidence for the 2025 season? Mine would be addressing first base. And I think there's a variety of ways you can do that. I mentioned Mountcastle and Yandy Diaz before. Another name I would throw in there is Paul Goldschmidt. Whether the Pirates are able to sign him or not, what the projected years, salary, that sort of thing. But bringing in a bona fide hitter, a former NL MVP, somebody who would, kind of no questions asked in the middle of your lineup. Yes, I know he's 37. But I would also trust that would be money well spent. And on the other side of that, this isn't necessarily a player. It's more of a, am I going to take them seriously? Somebody signed for multiple years. Somebody signed for the largest free agent contract in franchise history. They've done well by extending guys the past 3 years, but I'd like to see them spend legitimate money in free agency. And I think the smartest place to spend that is on a bat in the middle of the lineup. Somebody that's going to have a plus 800 OPS, something like that, can hit 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter, and who's going to take care of that thing and be part of the Pirates build. If you look at what they did before 13, 14, 15, what did they do with Russell Martin? They overpaid, and they're going to have to overpay for somebody this year. I do think they will do it. I really do. And this is a tricky thing because I'm not totally defending Bob Nutting's behavior, but he did spend $35 million or so the past 2 off seasons on free agents and some trades in there, but the Pirates simply haven't gotten enough return on investment. If you spend that $35 million a little bit smarter, the Pirates can get something done, especially at first base. They have fewer holes to plug. If you just go through their lineup and sketch it out right now, let's say they get Brian Hayes right, IKF ends up at short, maybe Nick Gonzalez plays second. There's a giant hole at first base, have to address that. Joey Bart, Henry Davis, Andy Rodriguez behind the plate, etc. O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds in the outfield. In right field, I'd probably leave that open for somebody to earn that job, whether it's De La Cruz or Sawinski. They should be able to spend significantly on a bat at first base. We'll see if they do it. Thanks for finding us. We're here Monday through Friday at First 10, about 10 minutes, middle of the morning, talking all things Pittsburgh sports. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap up Steelers Browns. And make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all of this content and so much more on our North Shore Drive podcast and YouTube channel. Thank you for watching First 10, everybody.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.